Jay here, Stretford Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United versus Bournemouth in the Premier League series. We are here in Chicago. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Joe Smith. And this preview is brought to you by Betfred, proud sponsors of Manchester United and, of course, Stretford Paddock. Joe, we've made it to Chicago. We've been to New Jersey via New York. Exciting times. How are you finding the windy city?
It's windy, but it's still roasting.
The windy city?
Yeah, it's the windy city. It's roasting though,
Knowledge.
isn't it? The whole time we've been in America, every single day has been absolutely boiling.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to be boiling into Atlanta as well. But we are here. We're very excited. I'm looking forward to United seeing playing against another Premier League team. I think it's a good thing that we're doing this and not, getting used to playing players and teams that we're going to be playing in the season. Very looking forward to it, very much so.
Yeah, I am as well. Obviously, we had that good result against West Ham, good 2-1 victory. We saw Bruno Fernandes amongst the goals. We saw a pretty strong team as well, and we might get a strong team this time round. We'll be getting into our predicted 11s in a minute. One thing, though, we saw Bruno Fernandes scoring against West Ham. We know Bruno Fernandes can score. He scored loads of goals for us last season, as he often does. Goals are an issue, though, for Manchester United. Do you still feel that they could be an issue, even though we have brought in Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo, or do you think that that is going to fix that problem?
I mean, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? But
yeah.
it's funny that I know Cunha's the only signing that's actually played, but we've brought this new signing in, and we're playing, it's still Bruno getting all the goals. Like, he's the only one who's actually scoring. But obviously, we're very early on. It's one game. I think that United have brought in somewhere in the region of 50 Premier League goals last season, or goals last season, and goals and assists between the two of them. That has to make a big difference. But then other players that weren't here, or that we haven't just signed, the likes of Ahmad and the likes of Højlund and of Xerxes and of all those players that aren't just new shiny transfers, they need to step up. They can't just think that Mbeumo will fix everything, Cunha will fix everything, or Bruno will do it like he always does. We need players, even players like Ugarte, chip in 2, 3, 4 goals a season. Ahmad, chip in 10, 12 goals a season. Xerxes the same, Højlund the same, and more so if you can. I just hope that they don't think, oh, that's all sorted now, we've got the new lads in, they'll do everything. Because realistically, if you're playing as an attacker or a midfielder for Man United, you need to be a goal threat yourself, not just relying on someone to come in and spend all that money and then do it themselves. So hopefully we'll see a lot more goals this season across the board.
Yeah, you would think so. Like you said, you're bringing in Premier League goals, if you want to just make it simple, or money ball it, as Steve Alson likes to say, with the likes of Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha. But it's other players, like you said, that need to step up. We saw Rasmus Højlund started brightly, didn't he, against West Ham at the post, obviously, but he needs goals this season. We know he struggled last season. Cheeto is another player who could get the goals this season. Very young, we know that, but his record as a youngster is quite prolific. There's a reason why we were all buzzing when we got him from Arsenal, and hopefully he can play a bigger part this season. So Betfred have given us a boost on one of their bets. They've gone from 4-1 to 5-1, and the bet is Manchester United to win, both teams to score, Ugarte to commit 1 foul, your mate Ugarte to commit 1 foul, and Matheus Cunha to have a shot on target. That has gone from 4-1 to 5-1. That has been boosted. Don't forget as well, be gamble aware, 18 plus. Prices are correct at the time of filming. Betfred rules do apply. Maximum stakes may vary. There's a link in the description. Go and check it out. I want to talk about Cheeto and a few of the others, a few of the fringe players, I should say, because it was quite a strong team on it for that first sort of 60 minutes. But we've seen it in pre-season before where some of the fringe players will get opportunities, they'll get moments, and they'll step up. And that can be sort of getting in the manager's head a little bit. Are there any players who you wouldn't class as first team that are here with the squad, or you think this could be their opportunity to shine and maybe get themselves in the manager's thoughts?
I mean, when you say first team, obviously, some of the players I'm going to mention are very much first team squad players. But there's a few players that I think have got a shout to be in the starting 11 week in, week out, who at the moment aren't. I think Luke Shaw is one of them. I think Joshua Xerxes is one of them. And I know obviously we've seen Ugarte start this game, but by the end of the season he'd been sort of dropped down as well. I think those three, I'm really interested to see what happens with them next season, because Luke Shaw, when he was fit and playing week in, week out a couple of years ago under Ten Hag, when we finished third, we won that Carabao Cup trophy, he was, people talking about as one of the best left backs in the world.
Yeah.
And weirdly, I guess his position has kind of been removed out of the team now, so it's not as obvious where he will play, as we literally can see him right now training behind us. If you can hear that noise, some of the United players are doing a little media day. They're playing over there. But Luke Shaw is such an interesting one, because it's almost like he's just become a centre-back overnight. But can he do it? Can he show all of that potential and all that skill that he did when he played all those games? Obviously, Ugarte, another one, it seems like maybe he will be back in the first team. But Joshua Xerxes has got sort of a bit of credit in the bank, because people like his sort of play style, like how he looks, like how he kind of conducts himself on the pitch. but I want to see a bit more from him next season. And I do think he's got the quality to do that potentially. Who do you think?
No, I like Xerxes. You know, we did a video, didn't we, not long ago about potentially if we don't sign anyone, could he be a player that plays alongside Brian and Mbeumo and Mateus Cunha, even if he was a little bit deeper and they were pushing on? Would that work? Chido, I know I mentioned, I keep going back to the fact of how young he is, but he is a player with immense talent. Maybe he can step up a little bit. Then you've got other players who we've spoken about, like the likes of Toby Colley, who's been rumoured that he could go out on loan, but we spoke about could he potentially be the engine in that midfield if he doesn't go out on loan, he ends up staying for the season. Is he going to get more minutes? Could he work in a combination with maybe Ugarte or Mainu? Because there is sort of question marks about how much legs, how much energy is in that midfield. So there's one or two players there. I do think when it comes to the so-called fringe players in defence, you look at someone like Aidan Heaven, who's probably not first choice. Phenomenal player. We're very lucky that the fact that I think those back three positions are well covered, and it's almost a case of there isn't fringe players, there's like 5 or 6 first teamers. Because, you know, we had Carl Anker on the channel the other week arguing that he'd have Maguire over De Ligt, where most of us would have De Ligt over Maguire. You'd have Maguire as your reserve and the other way around, but there's at least a conversation
and
there.
Either way wouldn't really surprise you, would it?
You look at Aidan Heaven, I keep going back to him, but there's a case that if Lisandro Martinez doesn't come back as healthy and fit as he has been in the past and he's still struggling, Aidan Heaven, there might be a conversation there. So I am pretty pleased with the squad itself. I think we spoke about in the podcast how we've got 1 or 2 players that are sort of 1 or 2 positions where you've got strong players in either sort of as the first choice and as the backup as well. So I'm not too worried about the sort of super squad. I'm just concerned about, like we mentioned earlier, about goals. That is the one area where we haven't got loads of options. We haven't got loads of players in the striking position. We've got players we can look at, but how reliable are they? How many goals are they going to get you? That is one area that the manager needs to work out. And obviously, there's still rumours that we might go in the market and buy someone. We might get an Ollie Watkins or maybe a Benjamin Sesko, which is another name being rumoured about. But as it stands right now, we've got to make the most of what we've got. Talking of making the most with what we've got, let's get into predicted 11s. Give us your predicted 11. Let us know the team you think is going to start against Bournemouth.
Can I just say, first of all, that is the loudest insect I've ever heard.
And
it sounds like a howler monkey or something. It's absolutely absurd. That's what you get in the hot weather, though, isn't it? In goal, I've gone with Bayende. I think he'll play. I think it's pretty clear that he's the second choice keeper at Man United. And Onana, although as we can see right now, he is sort of moving about and doing a bit of this sort of fitness stuff. He's not training the same way that others are. He's not ready at the moment. So I think Bayende will play. I've slightly tweaked the back three just to see something different. I've gone with Yoro, De Ligt and Luke Shaw. Like I mentioned before, I want to see if he's available, then what can he do in that position? Because obviously Aidan Heaven is a very exciting player. But Luke Shaw's an established England regular. You know, I would be shocked to see him just completely drop out the squad. And then a slight tweak at fullback. I've gone with Dalot out there because I want to see again something a little bit different. We know that Mbeumo's probably not going to play, so I've gone with Ugarte, Fernandes, Dorgu filling out those sort of midfield positions. Then I've gone with Cunha and Ahmad as the 10s. Seeing Ahmad in that sort of more advanced position would be good. And again, I think Højlund, obviously with Xerxes still probably not 100% fit, I think Højlund will start and needs a goal. Even though it's pre-season, he really could do with a goal.
No, he could, 100%.
A little bit of some changes from the last game, but trying to see a few different things. So Luke Shaw, see what Ahmad can do in the 10 and then get Dalot in from the start at wing-back. But other than that, I want to see more of what we saw the other day. I really do.
No, I do. I think we've got to take this series very seriously because we didn't have a great season last season. We all know that. This is Premier League opposition. Yes, it's friendlies, but I think if you take it quite seriously, get the players that you think are going to start most of the games next season, get them fit, get them ready, get them used to this system. With the new signings coming in, that could be essential.
Right then, we have got our very own bet builder for this game as well. The link is in the description if you want to use it. And this is as follows: Manchester United to win, both teams to score, and I'm going to say, I like this, Rasmus Højlund to score as well. That is 6-1. If you want to use that, go and click the link in the description and head over to Betfred. Remember, price correct at the time of filming. Betfred rules apply. Max stakes may vary. 18 plus. Be gamble aware. Thank you very much to Betfred for sponsoring the preview. Make sure you check out that link in the description.
For my predicted 11, it's not that dissimilar from yours, to be honest with you. I've gone with Ali Bayende in goal. Obviously, Andre Onana isn't available. My back three is Luke Shaw, Mateus De Ligt and Lenny Yoro. Luke Shaw, as you mentioned, we can see him training there. Expect him to feature. Obviously, De Ligt and Lenny Yoro were spoken about countless times. For my wings backs, that's not a word, wing backs, I've got Patrick Dorgu and I've gone with Ahmad. I think those will be the win backs for this one. And in midfield, I liked Kobbie Mainoo and Ugarte. I thought they did well. I think that's a partnership that could potentially have some legs in it. even though it's mine, maybe not got legs in it.
That is
but
one of the weaknesses of that partnership.
It hasn't
yeah.
got legs in it, but it could have legs as a partnership.
I like
so
that.
maybe that could be the one that Ruben Amorim goes to for the rest of the season. We'll have to wait and see all the season when it starts. The front three, Bruno did very well further up the pitch.
Yeah,
for the time being, I think he could be operating in that role for this series. So I would go with Bruno, Mateus Cunha, and then, as you've mentioned, I'd go with Rasmus.
That sort of unchanged kind of front five you've got there, isn't it? I like that.
I think that's the way to
front
go.
Seven, really.
Joseph, 2 words, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
They're a weird team, Bournemouth, aren't they? They've not got loads of fans. They've not got, much going for them. But they're doing all right.
The nickname is after one of the sort of lesser eaten stone fruits.
The sort of the Bournemouth name, Bournemouth, isn't particularly nice.
I've burnt my mouth on some hot pizza.
It's all right. I don't think it's not too bad. But do you know what? It's the term that I have to think. Were you punching above his weight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's that meant to mean in regards to me? Don't bring Lizzie into this. Anyway, Bournemouth, they are one of the sort of fairy tale stories of modern football, I suppose you'd say, aren't they?
Yeah.
They do things in sort of quote-unquote the right way. They're getting young players, they're getting players maybe that had been passed around Europe a little bit, but people weren't always so sure on, and they bring in really good, talented youngsters through scouting and stat-based sort of models, and they've come up to the Premier League, and they've made themselves an absolute regular, not just a regular in the way that, this is no offence, but the likes of sort of Bolton and Wigan did in the early 2000s, where they come up, they sort of punch everyone in the neck, and they scrape, 17th place. Bournemouth play really good football and can finish. If Bournemouth finished 7th next season, would you be that shocked?
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly, and that's amazing when you consider their stadium's got 15,000 seats in it. So I'm impressed by Bournemouth. I like them as a team. They've got some good players, but again, we can maybe learn a little bit from them in terms of how they do their recruitment. If we can scale that up to bigger, better versions of what they do, because we're not going to be happy finishing sort of 12th every season. But if we could do that, I think United will go up the league and be a better team for it. But I just think we just got to beat them anyway. Especially pre-season. We've had some nightmare results against them recently as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think you've been to a few of them.
Yeah, I took one kid to the game. It was 3-0 for a birthday. No, actually, I'm telling lies. My missus took my daughter to a birthday to Bournemouth. We lost 3-0. Then the season later, I took my lad and we lost 3-0. It's a family tradition. We take the children to watch United get beat 3-0 off Bournemouth. And long may it continue. I mean, no. We don't want it to continue.
So if
we want it to stop.
Lucky none of us are your kids, isn't it?
Yeah,
because we'd be destined to lose 3-0 tomorrow.
With all that being said, give us your score prediction.
3-0 Bournemouth. No, not really. I'm going to go, I think we'll win, and I do think they'll score, though, because we've seen that, recently. I think there'll be some changes. We'll probably see a bit of a lull in the second half, but I'm going to go 3-1 Man United.
3-1 Man United.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, I'll go 2-1 Manchester United.
Yep.
I'll go 2-1 Manchester United.
I like that.
Don't forget as well to check out the odds in the link in description from Betfred. Be gamble aware, 18 plus, T's and C's applies. Check out that link. Big thank you to Betfred for sponsoring this podcast. Big thank you to Joe Smith being on it as well.
Thank you, Jay.
Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.